Welcome back to the False Prophet channel, and this is Brother Jacob, and this is the False Prophet channel where we get Islam busted and the false prophet of Islam, Muhammad, busted on a regular basis. Tonight, I have a very funny video to show you. Okay, this clown who goes by the name of Muslim Warrior, okay, he called himself debunking Rob Christian, who put out his recent video showing the two different versions of the Quran, where you have the Hafs Quran saying one thing and another version of the Quran saying another thing. And we're going to show you the little clip that Muslim cheerleader put up. Even though he cut part of the clip, he used my voice, but he didn't want to show everything that I said because it would get him busted. But that's not the main point that I'm trying to make. The main point of the issue is this fool, he makes a very damning statement. He said that, hold that thought. I'm gonna show you what he said. But without further ado, let's get started.
I have.
That's a little music he used to make it seem like he's saying something fantastic, because in the Muslim community, the only thing they have to do is like put on a good intro and outro. And then when he finishes video, they don't even go back and check the things that he said. And they'll just go, oh, may Allah bless you, brother. Oh, you're getting them exposed. But we'll see who's getting their own self exposed by the time this video is done.
I've been keeping up with the latest shows, so I had a question. You know I hate even bringing.
Let me start it over again. This is me, and I called in to Rob Christian's live stream. This was today. And I was asking him a question about the different versions of the Quran. So let's start it over.
I have been keeping up with the latest shows, so I had a question. You know I hate even bring his name up, but the Muslim cheerleader who goes by the name of Muslim Warrior, you know, he tried to refute
that donkey. Yeah, that donkey.
Yeah, for Surah 37, 12, the one that you showed. And he keep trying to say that the word wonder, it doesn't say wonder.
He's an idiot, man. He's an idiot. Why is he not calling me? How is it, guys? For the people who just joined, sorry, Jacob, just a second. This is chapter 37, ayah 12, and this is the huge variant. Abu al-Harith version of the Quran, the reading of the Quran. Abu al-Harith says, بَلْ عَجِبْتُ وَيَسْخَرُونَ. Allah is saying, but Allah is saying, I wonder while they mock. So Allah is shocked. Allah has human attributes. Allah is amazed. Allah is doing wondering. Allah is a human being who is not all-knowing. He did not know that the enemies of Islam are going to mock. Let's say the Jews, the pagans of Quraysh and whatnot.
So as you guys can see, this idiot.
So as you see, he cut the video at that part because I said some more things when I had called in to Rob Christian. Rob Christian, he just showed you one of the versions which says, but I, referring to Allah. But then in the other version, it says, but you wonder. Because the Muslims, they don't want you to know that it's saying that Allah wonders, okay? Now, in the phone call with Rob Christian, I brought that point up. Like, this Muslim Warrior guy, he's trying to focus on the word wonder. That's not what we even focusing on. We focusing on the two different versions which have of 3712 that have two different meanings. One version, the Hafs, it says I wonder. And then in the other version, and you can go to the Rob Christian video to check it out, it says you, but you wonder. So when it says I in one version and says you in another version, that's giving that verse a totally different meaning. And this is what this silly Muslim cheerleader is trying to get away from. And his excuse was, oh, it's not a different Allah, he sent the Quran in 7 different dialects, but that's not an issue of dialects. That's an issue of a different meaning. We can understand you saying 7 different dialects, but a different dialect wouldn't change the meaning of the verse. Because when you say I, and then in another verse you say you have changed the entire meaning and the focus of the verse. One verse, the focus I is Allah, and then the other verse saying you, that changed the entire meaning of the verse. So now let's fast forward to the good part. This is what I want y'all to hear right here. This fool has destroyed Islam. This guy is an absolute fool. He is a fool. Capital FOOL. This guy is stupid. This guy's a jackass. Man, this guy's dumb. Listen to what he said.
هذه الآية فقال. Al-Junayd was asked about this verse. He said, إن الله لا يعجب من شيء. Allah does not wonder upon anything and does not think about anything. Right?
Did you hear that? He said Allah does not wonder about anything and he does not think about anything. This Muslim cheerleader has been telling me that, and he went to some islamweb.net. Yeah, he went to a Muslim website to verify his claim that Allah, because he's trying to say that Rob Christian was lying when he said the word means wonder. So what he's trying to say that, oh, when it says wonder, it's a different kind of wonder. Because you know how the Muslims say that Allah's mercy is not like your mercy, and his love or any other attribute is not like your love or any other attribute. So basically he's trying to, throw a curveball at you, trying to change what wonder means. So basically he went to islamweb.net to, to enforce his little opinion that Allah does not think and that he has no thoughts. But really that has destroyed him. And we're going to show you why. So let's rewind this part back to let this fool hang himself. This fool about to hang himself. This fool, Muslims will disown this fool after seeing this video. I guarantee you, this guy has shot himself in the foot. He has shot Allah in the head, man. Allah is dead. Let's rewind this and play what this fool said. Listen to this fool. And he can't take it back, fool.
So for example, وسئل الجنيد عن هذه الآية فقال. Al-Junayd was asked about this verse. He said, إن الله لا يعجب من شيء. Allah does not wonder upon anything and does not think about anything. Right? So as you can see here, this is what it means as you saw.
So as you see, Muslim Warrior has confirmed to us that Allah does not think about anything. He has no thoughts whatsoever. Now let's go to the comment section. Man, this guy, Muslim cheerleader, thank you so much, man. Thank you, man. Because these videos serve as an example to people as to why we have to keep fighting this Islam. It turns you into a fool. This guy's a fool. Now, let's read the comment I left him under this video. I said, Abdul, you made so many damning statements. Let me destroy you point by point. Number one, you said Allah has no thoughts and Allah does not think. This is sad, Abdul. You are getting worse and worse each time. Read the following verse, Abdul, and this way he got his own Quran busted. Everybody read this. In Surah 2:152, it says, so remember me and I shall remember you. Give thanks to me and do not be ungrateful to me for my favors. Do you see what it says, stupid? Allah makes a promise that if you remember him, then he will remember you. But how can this be true, Abdul? Because you said Allah does not think and he has no thoughts. So if he has no thoughts, then how can he remember something like the verse says? Boom! If he has no thoughts or memory to connect with, because memory is a part of your thoughts, and your thoughts are a part of your consciousness. And to remember something requires thinking. But you said Allah has no thoughts, you idiot, and he does not think. Now it's either, now this is the part I don't believe this guy's serious. Now listen to what I said to him. Now it's either you are playing when you make these videos, or he either smoking too much hashish like his prophet. Now it's either you are playing when you make these videos, or you are some government implant set up to destroy the doctrine of Islam. Because the Quran says Allah will remember, which is impossible according to you, because Allah has no thoughts and he does not think. That's what you said, Abdul. So obviously, Abdul, you have left Islam. You may as well toss the Quran in the trash at this point. Also, Abdul, doesn't the Quran say, and check this part out, everybody. I said, also, Abdul, doesn't the Quran say Allah is the greatest of all deceivers? But you Muslims say it doesn't say deceiver, but it means planner. And we're not going to even argue with them on that point, because I can still get him busted even with the word planner. And that even works better, as you will see. Okay, cool. Be that as it may. However, Abdul, how can Allah be the greatest planner if he doesn't think or have thoughts? Like you said, how can you plan something without thinking, Abdul? Because that's exactly what a plan is, you idiot. A plan is a well thought out strategy of how to do something, but you said Allah does not have thoughts and he does not think. So how can he be the greatest of planners if he doesn't think anything? Because you can't plan without thinking, Abdul. Do everybody understand that? I know we understand it, but Muslim cheerleader, you don't understand that? How can you be the greatest planner if you don't think, stupid? This guy is a fool, man. He has destroyed his God, his religion, his everything. This guy's a fool. Because you can't plan without thinking, Abdul. Like, really, dude, do you think before you make these vids? I believe you meant to say, I don't have thoughts, referring to yourself, and you mistakenly said Allah. Because obviously, this video is total trash, dude. If I were you, I would honestly take it down. Do you not realize? Oh, I ain't gonna read that part, because that's something I got, planned for everybody. But check this out. Check this out. I said, also, Abdul, if Allah does not think or have thoughts, then how can he judge anyone on Judgment Day? If he has no thoughts, how can he remember the things that they did? How will he be able to count their good deeds versus their bad deeds if he can't think? If he can't think, Abdul, and doesn't have thoughts, then what makes him any different than a rock or any other inanimate object? Because last I checked, Abdul, only inanimate objects lack the ability to think. Therefore, they are dead. So are you saying Allah is dead because he has no thoughts and he does not think? And since he does not think, how does he have a will? Everybody check this out. How does Allah have a will if he doesn't think? Because in order for him to will something to happen, he must first decide, i.e., think, to even will something. Because before you decide to go take a walk in the park, you have to think, you know what? You'll say, you know what? I feel like going to take a walk in the park. So you have to have a thought behind the will to activate the will into motion. But he is saying Allah does not think. So if Allah does not think, that means he has nothing behind his will to activate his will into motion. This guy's a fool. Jeez. Because in order for him to will something to happen, he must first decide, i.e., think for that thing to happen. He must first have a thought in order to have a will. No will can exist without having a thought behind the will. Look, Abdul, this stuff you are saying is totally stupid. And I'm at the point I am so thankful I was not raised in a Muslim society like you. Because if you are the example of what happens to a human's brain and logical reasoning under Islam, then I thank God Almighty that he kept me from being snared by such a stupid court. You see? And some other points, that I made, but I don't even want to go into it because we got him busted enough, and I don't want to make this video longer than it has to be. He didn't debunk Rob Christian. Rob Christian smashed him just like I'm smashing him right now. Let's go into some more comments he made. Let's see something else I told him. I said, look what I told him. He said Allah doesn't think, right? And look how else I got him busted. He said Allah doesn't think. Okay, let me read something to you. I said, only a false god like an idol does not think, you fool. So if God does not think, Abdul, then where did we as humans inherit our consciousness from and our ability to think? Because everything in nature inherits its traits from something that came before it. So where do we inherit our ability to think from, Abdul? If God doesn't have the trait of being able to think, then we would all be inanimate objects. So we inherited our consciousness and our ability to think from God. You have absolutely destroyed yourself and Allah. So now, not only is Allah something that you can't describe, because Muslims say they don't know what Allah is. He's not like nothing in creation. He's outside of creation. And you say that he is not energy, matter. He is not a spirit. But on top of that, he does not think. He doesn't have thoughts. So what is this Allah? I said, so this is all adding up that Allah doesn't exist, Abdul. You have gone absolutely insane. You need to check into a medical psych ward to get your head examined. This Islam has turned you into a complete maniac. So you mean to tell me Allah doesn't think, but he created you to think? So where did he get the idea from to create you to think if he doesn't think? Then how did he come up with the idea to create thoughts if he has no thoughts? And if he has no thoughts, then how could you inherit the ability to think from something that doesn't have the ability to think? Because in nature, every creation is a byproduct of something that came before it, and it inherits the passed down traits. So if Allah doesn't think, that means we didn't inherit our consciousness from Allah. So where did we get our thinking ability from, fool? And if Allah is all knowing, how can this be if he has never thought before? So you mean to tell me, Abdul, Allah has no clue about what thinking is, and he doesn't know how to think? Then I told him, I got all I needed to hear. Thank you so much, Abdul. So did y'all see how this guy has this guy from this point on, he's an absolute joke. This guy can't say anything no more, man. This guy's an absolute joke. And we got another video coming up after this one where he showed me this hadith that gets his prophet busted, and he didn't even realize that he was showing me something that I was going to use. He didn't know that I'm about to use this hadith that he showed me. This guy is just shooting himself in the foot right and left. So this is why we have to stay on the necks of these Muslims in an apologetic sense of the word. Because if we don't expose this stuff, they'll trick other simple, weak-minded people to follow behind Islam. But once we start exposing the fools and the idiots like Muslim Cheerleader, no one will want to join this and follow a stupid, idiotic doctrine and be saying stupid things like God doesn't think and he doesn't have no thoughts. And that's just stupid, because now this fool is left with all of these questions on his hand. Like, if God doesn't think, then how did he think to create the world that we live in? How did he think? How did he come up with the idea to create all of these different animals? If he doesn't think, then how is nature filled up with all of this beauty and all of these various colors and all of this beautiful life and creation? If God doesn't think, then how is it that animals think? How is it that humans think? When everything, like I stated, is inherited from something that came before it. Just like your eye color and your hair texture and your skin color. All of those things are physical traits that were inherited from something that came before you, which is your parents. So you can even use this law of inheritance to get atheists busted, because atheists say that there is no God, just like this Muslim Cheerleader is saying. Because once you say God does not think, he has no thoughts, you don't know what he looks like, you don't know what he is, he's not matter, he's not a spirit, he's not energy, he's outside of creation. Once you say all of these things, you're left with one conclusion: that Allah does not exist. That's it. This guy don't have a God. He's a fool. So you can even get atheists busted with this same argument. Because when an atheist tells you that there is no God, the only thing you have to say to the atheist is, okay, Mr. Atheist, if there is no God, then where did you inherit your consciousness from? Because the law of inheritance states everything in nature inherits its traits from something that came before it. That means Adam and Eve had a consciousness, and their consciousness just didn't pop up out of the air. They had to inherit their consciousness from somewhere. And you know where they inherited that consciousness from? It came from the divine consciousness of God himself. Because Acts 17:28 says, "For in him we live and move and have our being." And with that, this is Brother Jacob signing out. This is the False Prophet channel, where we get Islam busted and the false prophet of Islam, Muhammad, busted on a regular basis. I want y'all to go to Muslim Cheerleader's channel and leave laughing emojis all under his video. This guy is a fool. He can't tell y'all nothing. This guy is a absolute fool. He has destroyed Allah. And once the Muslims hear this, they're going to disown this fool. And with that, this is Brother Jacob signing out. Like, share, and subscribe.